Hey guys, what is up? It's Amy here and welcome back to my channel. I make videos on sustainable / affordable fashion, specifically on thrifting, but you know, with the whole coronavirus thing, I will not be thrifting for a bit. But today's video is going to be the first of a series, which I'm going to be calling Reformation Remake or something like that. Basically, Reformation is this store that makes a lot of sustainable clothing, and I will have their store link down below so you can look at all their stuff. All of it is really dreamy and just like amazing stylish pieces, but it's super expensive. So today I'm going to be sharing with you guys how I took this shirt that I saw on their website and kind of just recreated it and made it actually something that you can kind of just make yourself. So just keep on watching to see how you can just kind of DIY your own Reformation clothing, because I love their website but I literally can't afford any of it. So I started by making a prototype out of an old t-shirt, and the first thing I did was measure myself, and I did a measurement around my waist, my bust, my length from my shoulder to my waist, and then my arm, and then the armhole as well. So this is just different measurements for the tank top to make sure that it fits right. So then I took my t-shirt, which you can honestly just take any kind of fabric, maybe a sheet that you don't use anymore that's super old and crusty. So in terms of the actual pattern, this is kind of what we're going for, and you just want a tank top piece that's kind of diagonally cut, and then an identical one that's flipped backwards. This is the shape of the armhole, and you need 2 of those, and then a regular tank top shape, and then a long strip to make the tie material. So then what you're going to do next is take some chalk and trace it out. This is what the first piece ended up looking like. So what I did was take that cutout piece and put it onto the fabric flipped over so that it kind of mirrors the other side, and then I traced that out and then cut it out, and you're basically making an identical piece but kind of mirrored. So then you're going to want to trace the back of the tank top, and it's basically, you can take a tank top that you really like and trace the back of it and then cut it out. So once you have all of your pieces out, this is what it looks like when you place your wrap front pieces on top of each other. It just creates this wrap pattern. And then for the sleeves, what I ended up doing was tracing the sleeve of a shirt that fits me really well, and this is a great way of creating the sleeves because it just kind of makes sure that it's going to match. You can cut out a sleeve from a regular pattern, but I think this was just a little easier. And then once you have that kind of figured out, you just want to cut it out. And I can have more specific materials on making sleeves in the description. This is literally the first time that I have ever done sleeves before, so it's awesome that it worked out. But then you just are going to match up the sleeve to your tank top and then sew this together. But that's kind of getting ahead of myself. The first piece you're going to sew together is actually the 2 wrap pieces kind of sewed together on the side hems, and then you're going to sew the front piece to the back piece by sewing the 2 shoulder pieces, which I am doing right now. You want to make sure that your 2 right sides of the fabric are together while you're sewing the shoulder pieces together. This is a really kind of basic sewing tip, but you always want to make sure that the right sides of the fabric are together. So once you have your shoulder pieces sewn together, you're going to want to attach your sleeve. As you can see, I didn't do a very good job tracing it out, but it ended up working out just fine. You just want to match the pieces together and sew along the seam, obviously. And I didn't end up practicing on the other sleeve, but this is what the prototype looks like, and we're basically going to copy the same steps for our actual fabric. And the fabric I used was a super pretty blue sparkly stretchy material that I thrifted from Goodwill, and I think it ended up looking really nice. It looks like something that you would have like a super fancy ball gown, so I really like that. For the second time around, I just ended up tracing the sleeves of a shirt that fits me really well, and this is just a really simple way of creating the sleeves, and I should have done this the first time, but I really like doing this the second time just to kind of fix that mistake. So then I just laid my other shirt on top of this fabric and basically just copied and traced over the same thing. All the steps that I did for the prototype were what I ended up doing for my actual shirt. So if you want, you can just go straight ahead and create the shirt from the fabric that you want, but I just wanted to do a practice piece, and I recommend it if the fabric you're using is really special and it's not something that you can just easily buy again, or it's something that is kind of expensive. So if you want, you can also create a prototype if you want to kind of reserve the fabric for your final shirt. But if you ended up just going straight into it, you can just kind of follow the steps on the fabric that you're using. So once again, I just traced everything out and then cut out all the shapes that I needed, and I'll have everything in the description, the specific shapes. So I didn't show this in the actual prototype, but once you're done cutting out your pieces, you actually want to sew the hems, because once you have sewn it together, it's going to be hard to do the hems. So to do the hems, all I did was fold it back a ½ inch, and then I sewed the hem on the right side of the fabric. And you want to do this for both of the pieces that are going to be wrapping around the front, and then also make a hem for the bottom part of the fabric. So we're once again going to follow the same steps as the prototype, and we're going to sew the two wrap pieces together on the side hems. Now I'm just continuing to follow the same steps we took with the prototype by sewing the side seams together, and then eventually we're going to be sewing the arm together. I used the same kind of pattern for the arm as I did for the prototype of this shirt, and I just traced it onto our super fancy fabric. I lost all of the footage of making the tie piece, but it's really pretty simple. You just kind of fold the rectangle in half, sew all the way across, and then flip it over, and that basically makes a long string. So then to finish off the shirt, all you really have to do is sew from the corner of the arm into the armpit part of it, and then sew down the sides. It's kind of hard to explain, but if you just look up a tutorial of sewing a shirt, it's actually pretty simple. And once you have sewn that all together, your shirt is pretty much finished and you have completed the entire project. So if you like this video, of course, like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any questions or any other requests that you have for different clothing that you want me to remake from information, you can definitely either tag me on Instagram or Twitter so I can see the pictures of the things that you want me to recreate. I will also have my social media I'll also have my social media linked down below so you can follow me on all those different websites. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.